Hello, my crochet friends. Welcome to week 4 of our crochet along. This week, we're diving into the gorgeous green tones of our project, and I think you're going to love how this section brings fresh, earthy vibes to the piece. Now, if you signed up for the free version, all the pattern pages and your colorful row tracker is in your inbox already. And if you're just finding this video, the details to get your own PDF pattern is in the description. And as always, don't forget you could win a yarn gift card just for sharing your progress. Post a photo or reel using the crochet along hashtags listed and tag me so I can see it. I love watching your creations grow week by week, and I'll be so happy for the winner who gets to buy some new yarn for their stash. Let's get started with the greens. So now I'm going to start 134, and then it's time for a color change, or color, we're going to change up the color section. So we're starting on our green portion, and that's going to start with the lightest color, which is Winter Ice. So that's your kind of seafoamy color, a cool mint tone, whichever one you've chosen to be your Winter Ice shade. So it says in your pattern for row 134 to mark the 41st stitch. Okay, so you see we're coming in from the right, and we're still going to be using bark along with the Winter Ice for this portion of the blanket. And then this section will start at stitch number 41 and then just keep working down to your pink marshmallow color like you have been. So let me get my next stitch marker. I'm going to move up. This is my even number side where I have my stitch marker, just to remind me that this is the even number side, even row side. Otherwise, if it gets too far down, I don't know where I'm at, and I'm looking all over for it. As the blanket gets bigger, you can kind of lose your bearings, because you're at the halfway point now, maybe a little past that. Let me finish this stitch. This is from row 133, and then mark my 41st stitch, just so I know where I'm at, and it's time to change my yarn. Okay, so the first 40 stitches are bark, and you see the little graphic in your pattern that shows you where to place your stitch marker also. There's 40 stitches, so this is stitch 41. Hold it there while I open my stitch marker. My chain one and turn. I just keep working as usual until I get to my stitch marker now. All right, so this is stitch number 40, and I'm going to finish it by bringing up my Winter Ice color. My bark color snug, bring it forward. And then keep working my stitches. So go back one, pull snug, and then I can take out my stitch marker now. And then I will work down to the pink marshmallow, because for this grouping, or this segment of the blanket, colorway, you'll see that the pink marshmallow, those 15, will carry into this color, but then after this, when we go into the next darker color of green, the pink is done. And then we just have the bark working with it. So I've got one more round of using 3 colors. I know these skeins can be a little tedious, moving them around back and forth. But you had a little break from it with the bark and pink marshmallow section, even though it was a short one. So there should be 104 stitches in the winter ice before you get to your pink marshmallow at the end. I'm finding, even though I'm using the same yarn, each color feels different. My pink marshmallow is really soft. This color, the winter ice color, is very soft, and my bark is not as soft. And then I noticed with my reds, they all felt different from one another as well. I think once I wash it and do the fabric softener treatment, it'll all feel the same. Sometimes the way the dye dries onto the fiber, it can make it feel a little rough. So even with value yarns, if you give them a wash with some fabric softener, they really transform. I am coming to the end of this winter ice section, and I know that because the pink marshmallow is here. So pull my skein forward and then bring up my pink marshmallow to finish the stitch, and then just keep working. Alright, so that's the setup for your section, and you're going to work until row 163, at which point you will finish and be ready on row 164 for the next color change. Just making sure that I always get into that last stitch. It looks like a turn chain, but it's not. It's that first starting single crochet of the row. Otherwise your ends are going to be slanted. I chain 1 turn, and then I will mark. I use Procreate to do my markups. So that was row 134. I'm just going to mark it with orange. That way I know I've done it, and now I'm on 135, so I'll be coming back starting with my 15 pink right here, and then my 104 the winter ice, and then 40 of the bark. All right, so I've finished the section here, marshmallow, bark, or pink marshmallow, winter ice, and bark. And you can see I've marked my rows. So now we're on row 164. We are done with the marshmallow pink, so we can cut it, set it free, and now we will only have to work with 2 skeins of yarn. So let me get the blankets. It's becoming quite large now. So we're getting into the home stretch. So here's my pink. I'll cut long enough for end to weave in and just say goodbye to that. And then I'm going to have you put a stitch marker in for this row. So in your instruction, I'll put a graphic up, and it will say to put a stitch marker on stitch number 31. So the first 30 stitches will be the bark color. Stitch marker. since we're working with green now, why not? And this one started at stitch 41, so I'm just going to count back 10 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is the stitch where I will be bringing up my color that I'm using for spearmint. So this was 40 stitches here, and now we will just be working 30 stitches of the bark, and then the remainder of the row will be spearmint. So you'll be going back and forth with your spearmint and bark through row 189. Go ready. And if you're finding your when you hold it up and your sides look a little, they're straight, but they might, because of the stitch that we're using for this, it's kind of a 1.5 times the amount of yarn you're using in each stitch. So it might look a little, I don't know, slightly uneven. I mean, it's a straight edge, but what you can do is, I did this with one side. I just blocked overnight because it dries pretty quickly. I pinned my sides down on the blocking board and wet it with a squirt bottle and just let it dry, and it just smooths right out. But we'll talk about the optional border stitch at the end of this, which you don't need to do, because I'm trying to keep this modern, and I think a border can look, I know it looks finished, a lot of us really like a border on our blanket, but this is meant to be really modern looking, almost like a piece of art. And I think the border can make it look a little bit more dated, or even traditional, which is certainly not a bad thing. Christmas is traditional, but with this style of blanket, you know, it's your blanket, you do what you want with it. And I will have a recommendation for you if you want a more finished edge, but you'll need just a little bit of your leftover yarn from each color section to do it. Just a small amount. We're not doing a whole big border, just something really subtle. Alright, so this is my stitch number 30. So I will bring forward my color, and I don't need my stitch marker anymore, so I'll put that back. And then bring up my next color. Finish this stitch, pull this nice and tight. And then keep working. I'm not working my tail across as I go, because I find that that leaves a kind of a ridge that looks a little obvious. So I'll do the first couple of stitches and then weave it kind of upwards as I work my rows. And this, with the color I've chosen, it's a subtle color change, but I'm working to make a gradient effect. Because from this I'm going to a deeper green, kind of a mid to dark green, before we get to the finishing pine green. And I'll just finish my row with this color and come back, and my colors sections are already set up from working this row. So this is going to be a nice easy row for us.